White Burn. This is a deck, an archetype that felt pretty close to reasonable in regular standard, and in Alchemy it got a number of solid upgrades. So Electrostatic Blast probably being the most interesting of those, deals 2 damage to something, and then eventually cantrips with selection in a really powerful way when you cast your next instant or sorcery after it. Wanted Cutthroat is probably one of the best red 2-drops we've seen printed in a long while. So First Strike as a 2-2 is a good rate, and then when it deals combat damage to the opposing player, you get to guaranteed draw a spell off their deck. And in the control matchups, because of the day-bound, night-bound mechanic, it pressures the opponents into having to sequence spells in a way they might not want to. Otherwise, you get a double strike that draws a couple of cards. Ralph's Disciple here makes a bunch of lightning bolts in our deck, which we're actually pretty good at finding between Electrostatic Blast and Showdown of the Skalds. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games like this and see if we can burninate some people. Toner Owner, thanks for sending me some materials. We had 2 barrier catalysts to start the day, and we're still at exactly 2. Honestly, I wonder, at the rate, we went all day yesterday and only got 2 barrier catalysts. So, like, if that's the rate, we streamed 6 hours yesterday, we're gonna do, like, another 10 to 12 hours between today and tomorrow before the finale. I wonder if we're ever gonna complete this final mission, or if these catalysts are too scarce. The transition sound. That must have just been incidentally whatever noise Magic Arena was making as I did the transition, because my stinger doesn't actually have a noise. Oh, you all at home have character levels too that impact how you acquire materials. Okay. That would make sense. So people that have been watching all the days will be more likely to get them, is hopefully the case. Barrier Catalyst, living up to the more like Gatekeeper Catalyst, am I right? This is fine. Spikefield Hazard being a tap land's a little bit of a big sad, but the spells are good. Okay. I think it's more important that I play Cutthroat on 2 as opposed to Pit Fighter on 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go tap land, and then we can go untapped land 2, untapped land 3. Dies, returns to the battlefield, transformed to target player. Sure. Scale of 1 to dead. Where's this Cutthroat at? Hopefully they're just reading it. Orsley's, thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. Mind Drain. Get the Char 1 drop here. And a Spikefield. Let's keep the untapped lands. I guess they just want to turn this into the curse. That's fine though. And this kind of grindy game setup actually favors us, right? Because we have 2 Showdowns in hand. Well, at least we're not drawing these lands over the next few turns now. I'll do it again, I swear. So these ones are going away. So, land drop, bolt your face, Spikefield your face, Sacred Fire your face. And then this flashes back for 2 more. This is 4/8, so they're almost dead just to the cards that we have. Opponent's control deck seems like a pretty decent matchup for us, since we're killing them without actually putting creatures into play here. I would wager their hand has a bunch of removal spells in it right now. Hey, Bone Daddy, thanks for the 35 months. Welcome back. It's Bacon, thanks for the 11. Or Lee's, happy Sunday, thanks for 11 months. There was a issue with the patch that Arena deployed yesterday where the animations are very slow when discarding or moving from here over to here. So it's not the client lagging, it's just it being deliberate. It's not dropping frames, they're just like moving like molasses. Looked at 30 cards this game. We did, right? Yeah, 20, 27, there were 33. We bottomed a card, so 28. It's not you, it's Arena. Most of our sideboard is like answers to specific types of cards, and the opponent's mostly just playing removals. So I think we kind of just chill on our primary game plan here. Yep, sounds great. I'm just gonna Spikefield Hazard this before they can untap and use something to sacrifice it. This exiles it so they don't get the upside that that card normally has. How'd the first deck go? The ramp deck felt a little rough. It was kind of, the ramp deck was kind of a... It felt like a lesson in why Red and 7 fell off the face of the earth. Which is amusing considering how many people were complaining that that card was busted when it first released. Discard 2 cards, eh? I want to keep the backup, Rada. I think I'm gonna play with fire here to try and hit my land drop, because we get to scry when we go to their face. I don't know about fixed Robber of the Rich. It's definitely similar to that design, but it's powerful in it's good. It's better in some ways and worse in others. Rada explicitly only draws you spells. That's cute. Vengeful Stranger seems like a sweet card. Okay, so we're gonna have to sacrifice this to the Strangling Grasp anyways, so we'll just do this now. Let's play this out. We'll do this and ship. So that animation there is the Disciple stacking our deck full of lightning bolts. Bathe in blood. I wonder if this deck that we're playing should be playing another werewolf. One of the things that's interesting about this card is similar to Robber of the Rich triggering for rogues. This lets you cast the cards that she's drawn with any werewolf attacks. Oh, we do have Brutal Cathar. Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, we have a Soul Shatter exiled with this currently. Let's clean this out. Black Draft Shaft. I mean, exactly one. I think Skull Raid's pretty playable for what it's worth. And this card seems good with the sacrifice outlets. I think this is the first card my opponent's played that's like truly questionable. I think the other two cards seem like good innovations. There's an option on the right side, Jin, to hide the extension if you are not interested in participating in the Helios thing. So center right hand side of your screen, click the little toggle. I haven't run across those cards, so I assumed they're bad. And you there just highlighted why there's frequently so little innovation in card games and things in general. To be fair, that's not even really just a Magic player thing. With Pokemon Unite that we've been playing too, which is a MOBA, you see that same type of attitude there too. Where like, it takes one of the people that are considered the top teams to try something before other people are willing to give it a go. Alright, so they're dead. This is 4, and we have an Electrostatic Blast in hand. Or we could just cast our Lightning Bolts yet. Relatively clean. It's a gaming thing in general, yeah. Well, and to be fair, you know, it's people don't like to fail, right? And one of the things that people that are innovating in any type of game, or even in real life, right, outside of games, is anybody who's trying new things is going to fail a lot. And you often don't talk about the failures that are left on the cutting room floor as opposed to just focusing on only the successes. I kind of want want to cut this pit fighter for another werewolf. So that way we can get card advantage off of this more consistently. Yeah, it could just be Stormseeker. Wolf. I mean, are there any playable wolves? Thanks for the follow, Leak Speaks. So I can't craft the refined materials for Helios. You have to send over exactly the barrier catalyst. So you have the, I believe the viewers collect, they call raw materials to turn into the refined materials, and then I turn the refined materials people send me into components. It's probably just Stormseeker, right? This card's kind of cute. Probably worse than Stormseeker. This could be another option too. The Volatile Arsonist is an okay 5-drop. It also has reach. Good. I could see this being fine. Yeah, there's definitely a risk to having too many 3s for sure, but 3s versus 5s are very similar. I think let's start with Reckless Stormseeker, because it's probably the most powerful of the options, and go from there. Just like the floor is another 3/3 with haste, right? That can really punish them if we get the day-night cycle going. Well, it also deals a damage when it attacks, right? Or deals 2 damage when it attacks, Marty? I mean, our deck's not really interested in playing a sweeper, though, Snake. When I said reach, you thought I meant the reach keyword. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, seems fine. This is definitely a land tier. Our goal is to get to 4 mana, so that way Showdown can find us more lands after that. Perfect. We just play the Stalwart Slayer here. So that way we can have these do a little bit more to hopefully kill this. But ideally love to draw a deal 3 next turn. Angel Fire Ignition is really good with the 2-drop. That's a good shout. Finish this off with this. Yikes. Okay. Well, at least they didn't use it to kill my Disciple, I suppose. Glass half full. Well, that card is really good against us. Yikes. So this makes us pay 1 extra whenever we go to target something, and then they also take 1 less damage. It's probably the game. Valorous Stance seems great. We can protect our stuff and also destroy their bigger things like Adeline. Radiant Scrollwielder seems good. For laughs, I'm not actually convinced that this card is good. Like, the idea of getting lightning bolts is like cheeky and feels sweet, but the way it plays out in practice feels pretty awkward and clunky a lot of the time. I want these Cathars here too. I'm gonna trim the Reckless Stormseekers. Yeah, and like, remember, like, eventually you draw like some bolts, but like, how much of an upgrade is the lightning bolt that you're drawing over the card that you would have drawn instead? Is a real thought / consideration. Thormar and Mangles, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Welcome everybody that's hanging out this morning. If you're dropping in from the front page of Twitch, welcome. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch in general. I'm here at least 5 days a week. We do a lot of strategy, turn-based card games like Magic the Gathering and others. We also do some single-player story-driven games. Just finished up a Mass Effect 3 playthrough. We're going to be diving into Riot's The Ruined King that they released tomorrow afternoon. You had 4 free slots in the deck, would you put in bolts? Yeah, but like, that's different than the question you're asking with the 3/3 for haste, right? Like, obviously every red deck would play 4 lightning bolts, but you're not playing lightning bolt by playing that card. Yeah, if it put a bolt into your, if it drew you a bolt when it attacked, it obviously would be great, but it also very much doesn't do that. Let's do this while the board empty. Okay, well, we won't have to draw those lands over the next few turns. Glass half full. That's good to know, Breadboxer. These cards over here go away at the end of turn. Sure. Lots of have like Snakeskin Veil here. Brutal. And that actually, the fact that this got bigger means I actually just can't kill this currently, right? Because it's got 2 toughness, but it takes 1 less damage thanks to the shield. I think that's still accurate, puppy. Sacred Fire this before it gets to end of turn to put a counter on something. Rough. Hey, Cinetasmic, thanks for the sub-gift. Appreciate the support. Oh, and I can't, like, we're 2 mana off of flashing this back. All right. The person asking, do I think Lightning Bolt was still a good card to keep out of Historic? Yeah. Yes. Didn't you experience Jeskai Control? I think Lightning Bolt would be a bad card to put in Historic for a lot of the same reason that, what's it called? Was a bad card to put in Historic, Memory Lapse. Having cards that are just deterministically the best thing to be doing in a particular slot make deck building a lot less interesting. Do I have enough creatures for Angel Fire Ignition? 16. Is 16 creatures enough to Angel Fire reasonably? Reserve list cards. I don't know. There's a lot of bad cards on the reserve list, so I don't know. Obviously, I don't think they should print power into Historic. Chat, you shouldn't try and help the people that are saying they're going to close the stream because of the attention required thing. Because if they were literate, they would have been able to figure it out themselves. So you typing messages to them in chat isn't going to help them resolve the thing they were unable to read in the first place, because clearly they can't read. Yeah, it's probably a little bit low in order to have Angel Fire be playable. I'm all about teaching people to fish, chat. That's a good life tip in general. Rather than spending time complaining about things, take 30 seconds and look around and you'll probably figure it out. Do we need more instants and sorceries in here? Let me look at... I'm gonna net deck past Jeff. What were we playing in the burn deck that we swapped out last time? So previously we had played Cemetery Gatekeeper and Magic Missile. Magic Missile was pretty good when we played it. Although there hasn't been nearly as much white aggro in this format. What was it? When I did software development in a previous life, we had an excellent saying. You make something idiot-proof, then they go and make a better idiot. Let's start here and play another game. Yeah, I don't think Disciple is very good. It's been kind of medium every time we've played it. Yeah, Missile's good against white aggro, but there's been a little bit less white aggro in the format. This format as people have been exploring things. And that could change as the format settles a little bit. But it feels like with the addition of the new 4-mana Inquisitor, the white's been moving more in that direction. More like combo value based than straight run you down. The small nerf to Aspirant made the just run you down plan a bit worse. I don't think the Prowess Dorko is very good, Windmagus. It's not just as simple as getting to 20 either. You need to have more than 20, so that way if some get exiled or removed somehow. And then you need to have lots of cantrips at that, so you can trigger Prowess a bunch after the fact. Otherwise, you just have a 2/2 for 2, which isn't a playable card. Let's keep this on the draw. He said some lands. We're on 20, 26 lands total with our flip cards. Even drawing non-white lands, we still have plenty of castable spells if we have to sit on Sacred Fire for a little bit. Let's live for now. Probably will kill this with Play with Fire at end of turn if they don't give us a better target. Because my mana's gonna be tied up the next couple of turns with these. Yeah, a lot of the learn cards fell off a little bit. Because the sideboard slots that they take up come at a real cost. Unfortunately, our 3/3 does not line up particularly well into a 1/4 here. Hot and Spicy, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Good chance there's just a piece of spot removal here. Could also just be them hoving up the activation for this, though. We can target the same one of these twice and get it up to a 4/3 to attack in at least. Still haven't found a white source, but we do have mana for Volatile Arsonist next turn now. Okay, there's a white source. Unfortunately, Edgar kind of stops us in our tracks, huh? Because it's still daytime. An excellent series of hit off the Showdown at least. We'll be able to play all of those out next turn. If I hold the Play with Fire till next turn, I have 5-6 mana to cast all of these. We'll be able to get a Showdown trigger off it, which is nice. And it'll also deal an extra damage thanks to Rem. Oh, they're sacking the Edgar to the Felstinger. Okay. So Edgar comes back as a coffin, which makes tokens each turn. The lifelink on these is quite annoying. Alright, we're gonna chill on this, so again, we can get the extra counter off of Showdown of the Skalds. So we'll go ahead and we'll play Rem, which drops a counter on this. And we'll go ahead and Sacred Fire the Fell Stinger. Drop a counter on this. Clear out their blockers here, push some damage. Volatile Arsonist next turn will help us keep the tokens from the coffin in check. Opponent's still at a relatively high life total, though. Solid chunk in here. We'll have one more turn of Showdown putting counters on things. We'll actually have 7 mana next turn, so we can do both of these. That chump block there probably means Blood on the Snow is coming. To sweep the board out. Yeah, it feels like a Blood. The person I was talking to for the Helios thing says if your thing says you're sending to undefined, you should refresh your page. Should resolve that. Tax 1 to each of up to a creature player and or planeswalker. Okay, so no planeswalkers. And this is menacing, so they can't block it with just this. And then we have the Showdown of the Skalds trigger till end of turn, so I think we fire off the Sacred Fire proactively here to get to push an extra point of damage by putting a counter on the Arsonist. This knocks them down to 8. Now, one thing that there is some concern over here is that these tokens have lifelink, so while we're kind of close to being able to kill them here, the fact that they have tokens that gain life mean we're actually further than it would appear. Showdown of the Skalds probably our best draw. Another Arsonist would also be okay. Alright, it's a good start. I suppose this also needs to be good past that. Okay, that's a Rem. It's a bingo. It's for the Follow Frost one. Good morning. Yeah, we can take this and kick it twice. Oh, am I dead? Did I miscount? It's actually lethal. I forgot this. Fuck. I forgot this was about to flip back over. And the way this transformed works, it has haste. So it just added 6 power to the board. Yikes. I mean, honestly, even if I don't attack here, we're still kind of fucked, right? It's an artifact on the backside. Probably means Abrade is pretty good. Yeah, Edgar was super good there. Yeah, Reidane's reasonable. Making their Snowlands come into play tapped is good. Being able to make their Blood in the Snows push off for more is good. Honestly, Valorous Stance is probably pretty okay too, right? It kills their 1/4 and it kills their Edgars. Stormseeker felt pretty awkward because of how it lines up into their 1/4s. Leave one of these in. It's an extra threat. Stance being able to save one of our threats from a removal spell also has a lot of appeal. Yeah, this seems pretty good. These are going to come into play tapped if they're not our first 2 lands, so we'll lead on these. That's true too. Vanishing Versebake, Stormseeker, less exciting. Oh. Oh. Well. This is why you should play this card, chat. Sometimes it's just like, and we'll draw 2 now. Thanks. Look at it. It's a lull for later, chat. We're playing this as a land. So every time this hits your opponent, you draw a spell out of their deck. And then anytime a wolf attacks, you can cast those spells the rest of the game. Yeah, Brittle Blast could be okay. 3 mana's a lot though. Maybe Brittle Blast is better than we've got a couple of what's it called in our sideboard, Faded Absence. I could see Brittle Blast being better in this slot. And so even if they kill this, they're going to need to kill every wolf we play for the rest of the game before they can attack, basically. That's some good beats. It's a Feral Outlaw. Every time it hits our opponent, we get to draw a spell out of their deck that we can cast for mana of any color. For the 7 months, Dylan. Oh, we can rummage with this eye twitch trigger. I actually kind of like all the cards in my hand, huh? We're gonna keep, I think we'll just chill. You know what's really weird, chat? The person that I called out for saying they weren't going to watch the stream that had the extension pop up that they could have just clicked past, they stayed for 10 minutes after their timeout to bitch about being timed out and being called out. So not only were they incapable of reading and just complained before doing anything else, they're also a fucking liar. Weird how that works. Strange. And Races, thanks for the 12 months. I appreciate the entire year. Welcome back. And in general, past the you didn't want to read to just like take a second and close the extension if you didn't want to play Helios, which the Helios thing is sweet. You should check it out if you haven't. It just takes 2 clicks to enable it. But like, and this applies to my channel and every channel on Twitch. If at any point a streamer says something or does something or changes games or makes a play that you don't like or promotes something that you don't like, you don't need to announce your departure. Twitch streams are not airports. You probably wouldn't yell at your television when a new show comes on that you're no longer interested in watching. You would just change the channel or turn it off. So treat Twitch the same way. Sounds good, Master. We aim to please. Yes, the Helios game is largely an idle game to start. You acquire materials to make resources every 10 minutes while hanging out in the stream like you're going to be doing anyways. If you want to be more involved in that, once you acquire them, you can send some of them in to me to be able to build things. For the people asking about the terminal as part of Helios, I'm told something is coming for that later tonight or tomorrow. And we'll be streaming tomorrow as the last day with the extension up, so you'll get to see it then for sure.
Are you enraptured by my beauty?
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana for next turn. So we can, when we attack with this, we have a Lolth of our own in exile from an earlier Rada, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and attack the Cutthroat into their Lolth, right? Whenever... Okay, so we attack. That gives us Blood on the Snow and Lolthir. Oh, this does exile her, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a good shout to play around their Blood on the Snow. I like that. So let's exile this, get a counter here. And then this kills this spider.
Nothing more.
And then we can play Lolth of our own. And then we can play the Sacred Fire to kill this spider, so that way our Lolth is insulated from them attacking back. This card is so good.
For they consume, we will slay our enemies.
Let's power up one of our spiders here so we're not all in on this Cutthroat. Well, so, Steric, had they sacrificed the other spider in response, we could Sacred Fire the Lolth after the fact, right? So it would go up to 1, and then up to 2, down to 1, and then we Sacred Fire to finish it. So it ends up being about a wash. They just like, it ends up being exactly a wash, right? Hey, thanks for the 10 months, Tickled. Good morning. Oh, Twitch usernames. Oh, Twitch usernames. Okay, so we get a 1/1 counter for every spell we cast here. I kind of want to just play this and kick it. Get in here. Because, so we pay 3 and this gets a counter, and then when we cast a spell with it, it'll get another counter from the Showdown of the Skalds trigger here. Are they dead to us killing Edgar? How do we kill Edgar? What am I missing? I am going to go ahead and target Edgar with Spikefield Hazard here. So this way, if they block with Edgar to trade, he gets exiled. Ah, okay, yeah, one of them was, I think there was one of each there.
I will cull the weak.
Yes, the exile on Spikefield is super relevant for a lot of this format. We exiled both Lolth and Edgar with it, so. lovely queen gets some counters here. They're up to 9. Their Meat Hook Massacre doing its best to keep them in this game for sure. We start with this, see where we go.
Exchange for loyalty.
Okay, and then let's Rem. Attack for 2 and we'll have a bunch of these next turn. These are going to churn through a bunch of cards, right? So the first blast will let us draw 3, and then we'll draw another 3. Chatterfang is one of the sweeter brawl decks we've played in recent memory, for sure. Okay. They should still be dead next turn, right? Because we'll get to Rem before we start popping off with these other things.
Fall into my web again. I will come.
Every one of these is a deal 4. Okay, game 3. We don't get surprise killed by an Edgar flipping. That went much better. This card is super powerful. I think this card's definitely up there for top cards in the new digital release for me. Both of these are great. If you're looking for things that are reasonable crafts that will slot into lots of different decks, these things are very playable in lots of red decks. Yeah, the base level for the Helios thing for now is it's mostly an idle resource acquirer. I'm told there will be more things being added this evening and tomorrow to do with the terminal and then some puzzly type game things for people that want to be a little bit more engaged with it to acquire extra stuff. Even if you're not interested in being super engaged, you can just activate it and hang out in the stream and acquire resources to help me build a rocket for my thing tomorrow. This is fine. This matchup seems pretty grindy, so double Showdown on the opener seems appealing. I think Rahilda compares to Robber the Rich. I think it's much better. Definitely feels like a very powerful effect. I'm gonna be a little greedy and potentially save this to be a spell. The fact that this forces specific sequencing out of the control decks is really nice too. I think I'm gonna start on this as just a 2/2 with haste because they know this is here. Try and get like a Vanishing Verse or whatever out of them. Fizzy Dragon, thank you for the 45 months. I appreciate the almost 4 years. Welcome back. Okay, and now that we've failed to draw lands, we'll go ahead and do this. Ended up actually getting kind of punished here for my sequencing. If they go Black Source Meat Hook, I'm pretty sad here. Because they didn't have the removal spell, if I would have played this on 2, we would have gotten to... Yeah. Maybe I'm supposed to Stalwart Slayer because of the potential for Meat Hook here. Feels bad to play around one thing to start and then get hit by another. Sweet, tickled. Yeah, that one, the mono black deck's on my list of things I want to try.
I will get what I want.
Okay, so... we just kill Lulth and play another Cutthroat out here.
At least there is blood on your hands.
Hey, thanks for the 14 months, Centurion. Welcome back. Well, hitting stances off of Skalds feels not great. It's very possible that 4 stances is too many to board in here. Oh, I should have attacked with this. This is for strike. It was a mistake to click through. Sweepers.deck. Morning, Logan.
Darkness will aren't I generous?
Okay.
I am merely delayed, not defeated.
These are particularly menacing, so I can't block them currently. Open on this and see what we get off the Electrostatic Blast trigger. Yeah, I'm supposed to have played out this adversary as a blocker. I think that probably does it. Just too many menace creatures.
Wrench their hands. My power is for annihilation.
The meat hook in combination with all these menace threats, just a little bit too much. I like the idea of some Brittle Blasts in the sideboard as a way to exile things. Yeah, that's true too, Classic Keck. We did explicitly cut Magic Missile, and then a lack of it there definitely got felt. Stormseeker felt a little whatever. Maybe we do want to keep some magic missiles in here. Magic missile is definitely good with adversary too. Kind of wouldn't mind just like playing another land as well, because like these are pretty good as spells in a lot of instances. It is also insane with Ram, that is true. We started with the lightning bolt guy. I don't think that card's very good. Let me ask you a question. Would you play 3/3 with haste for 3? Is that a constructed playable card? Is my question for you. Does it disable sub mode if you're on the front page? No. No, we are definitely in sub mode for Jep. Maybe? No, come on now. Stop it. That depends. Does my opponent play 0 removal or creatures? That's funny. So you can have more than one Twitch extension active on your stream at a time, but there is a technical difference between overlay extensions and what's called a component extension, and you can only have one full overlay extension at a time, which both Helios and Untapped are overlay extensions. So in order to be a part of the Helios thing, we did have to disable Untapped. Our opponent does seem to think it's party time, which, speaking of party time, Blue-White Party was actually our daily deck digest highlight this morning over on YouTube. Looking for a good source of alchemy decks, a little bit outside the beaten path. All of our ideas that we've been playing with are going up there. Showdown helps us hit our 5th land drop. Oh, that's hella awkward. They could also just be clerics, too. So, like, remember, all clerics are technically party spells, so they could just be playing this as an angel cleric in a cleric's deck. Game 1, we're definitely a little soft to high toughness creatures. Post board, we have 4 Valorous Stance and now 2 copies of Brittle Blast that we just added. That can help us chunk through these. They could be Esper clerics too. I've seen clerics decks splashing blue so they can play Glasspool Mimic with Inquisitor. So the blue splash in a lot of these cleric decks is for the Glasspool with the new 4-drop. Because that combo is so powerful. Just put a bunch of 3/3s into play for 4 mana. Maybe we should do that next, actually. We're going to do at least one more Alchemy deck today and then maybe some Historic. I think Esper Angels with the new Inquisitor plus Glasspool. Because, yeah, doing this, for example, is very powerful, right? So we're definitely doing this. Yeah, the deck wants us to play these. Do we Volatile Arsonist, put a counter here, and then smack them? I could also Bloodthirsty Adversary, kick the Sacred Fire, and then this will be a 4/4, and we'll get to attack and draw a card off of their deck. I think that's actually the play to win line here. Because I don't really have answers to their current board state in my deck, but their deck might have answers to the current board state. And we're gonna Sacred Fire this Valkyrie, so that way I can attack in with my 3/3. So by Sacred Firing this, I actually push 1 more point of damage. I mean, the drawing the cards in the Showdown wasn't great for us here, but the +1/+1 counters was fantastic. Rotan, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Yes, yeah, we just gotta pyre off their decks, so definitely clerics. I was hoping for something like a Skyclave Apparition. If they have another cleric to put into play here, we're probably dead. Because if they get to 27 life, their things get +2/+2. And we're gonna get chunked down really quick. Okay. Wow, this attack actually seems like it's pretty good for us. Because this gives me a window to just, like, push a ton of damage here. I guess we would have had okay attacks regardless. But, like, kill your thing, chunk you down to this. Like, obviously they have a lot of life gain potential here. So they could hit 27 and have us pretty far out here. Yeah, yikes. So this gains them 10, and then they can pod this into a 4. So, like, they go get the Inquisitor Captain here and just, like, fully pop off. GG opponent. Yeah, the cleric's deck seems good. We definitely get a lot better post board here. We get to bring in stances and Brutal Cathars and some Brittle Blasts and some Radiant Scrollwielders. So, like, we're not just in these post board games, but it's still definitely not a good scene for our hero. What's going on, dude? Come to steal my water.
Yeah.
A breed for the pyre. Yeah, I guess that could be fine. Sacred Fire's not particularly exciting. We were doing great until we weren't. Mood. Hey, Declan, close my door, please. Okay, so the Helios people tell me there will be a thing that will unlock extra of the rare materials people are having trouble finding. There'll be more stuff to do later this morning in the extension if you're interested in poking at it some more, as well as tomorrow. The door closing is just lagged a little bit. He doesn't come into my office to see me, Chad. He just comes into my office to steal my stuff. If, we play Switch games on the stream with some consistency too, a lot of Pokemon Unite and some other things, and I'll occasionally come into my office and find that my Switch has been scavenged. That normally sits on my desk. For folks that are new to the channel, I have 3 tiny humans, a 6 and a 7-year-old, and then an 18-month-old. The joys of fatherhood. Platty, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Cyberic and Tondatiano, Twitch usernames. Welcome back. Yeah, this is fine. I'm gonna lead on these dens because they do tend to play the 1-mana cleric that has Disturb. So if they play that, we can kill it on 1 and exile it with Spikefield Hazard. They are adorable for a good long while. Look at that shit, just like we drew it up. Lunarch Veteran. Knowing card names is overrated. When I woke up this morning, Jacob and Haley were just like running in circles around the living room and the kitchen upstairs. Jacob's going, "I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you," and Haley was just cackling, loving it. It was very adorable. Hey, Robot Dinosaur, thanks for the prime. There's a ton of great people on Twitch you can send those Bezo bucks to every month. Thanks for sending them this way this month and keeping me employed. Do I want to Shatterskull Smashing this? I don't really have anything else exciting to do with my mana for the turn. So, like, this doesn't feel good, but, like, passing without using my mana also feels not great. Yeah, I think we do. Era does. Got me. You're here to make microchips. Sounds good. Man, our Showdown of the Skalds really like exiling 3 lands so far today. Showdown of the Flood, chat. Hey, Balasar, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Okay, so we'll get Cutthroat down, and then we'll Sacred Fire, clear this, get a counter on her. You know, even a mediocre Showdown is still a draw to spread some 1/1 counters out among my creatures, so still very good. They could realistically Inquisitor Captain this turn and, like, hit 27 off of high rolling with it. So if this finds a Glass Pull Mimic, they get to go again. Righteous Valkyrie, also a good hit. Yeah, I agree, Donkey. I think we're gonna try out some clerics, after this burn deck. I actually think with the addition of Inquisitor Captain to the clerics archetype, I think you're maybe not supposed to play Pyre anymore. Because, like, you were largely playing Pyre in this deck to help you find Valkyries more consistently, and this... Oh, wait, they found the Mimic? This was a Mimic, and they didn't copy the Captain. I'd have been greedy and copy the Captain, chat. Maybe they're right to be more conservative, but I'd have copied the Captain. What's going on, Fedmart? Thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Okay, 1 Skyclave Apparition, please. Yikes. If they have an apparition of their own, this Cathar is going to give them the Valkyrie back, which is not great for us, but also couldn't afford to leave that in play. Need to push damage. Let's you drop Angel. I could see that. So, obviously not blocking here. If this dies, they get their Valkyrie back, which is not great for us. Alright, I think I'm gonna retire this burn deck. We talked earlier about sweeping some failures under the rug when you're trying to find new things, and so far that's been the theme of the morning.